Hey y'all, it's my review for the Real Housewives of New Jersey, episode 10. Can y'all believe we're at the finish line already for this season? Like, after this episode, we have 2 left. That's it. And then, I guess some cockamamie reunion. Yeah, I haven't used that word in a minute, cockamamie, because it's BS that they're not giving us like an actual reunion. Sit these ladies down, force their asses to talk to each other so we can get some type of like, I don't even want resolution. I just want answers and accountability. Anywho, we open the episode with the usual montage of what the ladies are doing. We're with the Gorgas and Melissa's mom. Melissa's mom's arm is finally healed. She's giving a Sonia Morgan tea. I'm not sure if she's on something. She's just giving like a pill popping tea. But one thing that stood out to me in this scene as they were ordering Cosmos, just as a bartender, I think those Cosmos are way too dark. Like, a Cosmo should be a pretty shade of pink, like a light pink, not like red. Like, if you see a red Cosmo, they didn't make it right. Anywho, this is the episode where Melissa's having her Envy fashion show, which is kind of like a New Jersey staple, just like the baseball game and going to the Jersey Shore. Over dinner, Melissa's mom is talking about dating, and she just wants to have some fun. Like, she doesn't want like to go steady. Wow. That's such a Gen X baby boomer phrase. Let's go steady. Oh wow, I didn't know she was widowed for the 2nd time. Jeez. I don't know, I don't think I would be interested dating in my 70s. If I was like 75, I'd be like, you know what? The rest of the life, I got this alone. I think I'll be fine. Next scene, we're at Dolores' place and she's being visited by Margaret. And like I said in my last review, I think Dolores is giving Margaret the benefit of the doubt because they're actually friends. Like, she was never friends with Jackie. Like, remember, last season or maybe the season before, I think it was last season that Dolores bucked up on Jackie, was about to knock her ass out. Ooh, Margaret is crafty. Like, she tells Dolores, you know, I swear on my life, swear on my kids, that I never said a bad word about you. So yeah, she did say something about Paulie, but the thing is, I think Dolores was concerned about her friend dating this guy who's already married. Like, of course I would say something. And I would want that type of friend that would warn me about somebody. Just like she tried to warn Teresa about Louis, because I'm sure that relationship is going to blow up in her face at some point. It's going to happen. Margaret does cop, though, that she was irritated with Dolores after the season 13 reunion because she went to hang out with Teresa afterward, you know, after all that broke out about, you know, Louis calling her son or whatnot. She admits that the only reason Dolores went with Teresa that evening was because Paulie likes them better than her. Dolores also admits that there was some contention in their friendship. She was saying, you're the one that distanced yourself a little bit after the reunion. We cut to Margaret's confessional, and she admits that she took a little break from Dolores, but they moved on and moved past it since then. Dolores seems to ask Margaret, is there anything else you said about Paulie? And, I mean, I do credit Margaret for at least mentioning it all. Like, she says that, well, she was still with David, this would have never happened. Dolores is a little taken aback by this. We cut to her confession and she says, you know what? Margaret talks a lot of shit. And then we get a montage of Margaret talking shit amongst the group, whether it be about people that's on her side or people she don't get along with. I mean, that's why we love Margaret, right? I mean, a shit-talking housewife. I mean, film at 11. I still think it's better than Teresa, who takes no accountability whatsoever and expects loyalty out of people when she can't give it in return. By the end of the conversation, it looks like Dolores said, you know, it's not worth ending a friendship with Margaret over this. Like, she's a good friend at the end of the day. And then Margaret says she wants to have one final conversation with Jackie. I don't know, Margaret. Like, once you release that text message, you open the floodgates for anything Jackie wants to reveal. And I bet for this upcoming reunion special that they're going to do, I'm sure Teresa's going to push Jackie to release some text message that Margaret sent her. Next scene, we're with Danielle talking to her husband. She's going to Envy Fashion Show. The only person that's not going to the Envy Fashion Show is Teresa. Speaking of that, Jennifer's going to be there. And Danielle's talking about how she feels Teresa doesn't have her back with Jennifer because, we flash back to Teresa defending her at her Bougie Kids launch. So later she's talking about how her kids are booked to do Kids Bob, and then she brings up her dad. Is he coming or not? I don't know. I just feel like this storyline of hers is just tacked on. It just seems like there's too much mystery behind why they're beefing in the first place, and unless she has a sit down with her dad and her brother, then I don't really want to hear about it. Also, I don't want to hear the word Bougie Kids anymore this season. Alright, so next scene is the day of Melissa's Envy Fashion Show. We cut to some of the ladies getting ready. We're with Jennifer. She's talking to Teresa on FaceTime. We found out that Teresa has an event of her own tomorrow. It's for her Namaste podcast, which, by the way, I don't even think it's a podcast anymore because she's beefing with the co-host. Is anybody surprised? Jennifer's wondering, though, is Danielle going? And apparently she's not because of her daughters doing the Kids Bop thing. And Jennifer's relieved that she doesn't have to see her 2 times. We're back at the venue for Melissa's fashion show, and Danielle gets there super early. I will say, though, the dress that Melissa gave her from Envy, it looks really nice on her. Low-key, I think it's the best she's looked. I think Melissa needs to start styling her. We're cutting to more of the ladies getting ready for the event, and Dolores is talking to Paulie about the dynamics in the group because Rachel and Fessler are going to be there. That's beef. Margaret and Jackie are going to be there. That's beef right there. And then Jennifer and Danielle. I mean, I do love that none of it has to do with Teresa, though. So some time passed by. We see the ladies arriving to the event. Everyone looks nice. Jersey has gotten much less tacky with the fashion. Here go Margaret starting again, like asking Danielle, are you going to talk to Jen? Asking Fessler, are you going to talk to Rachel? Margaret, are you going to talk to Jackie? We cut to Danielle's confessional, and yeah, it's still extreme bad blood between her and Jennifer. She has nothing nice to say to that woman. So far, it is Margaret, Danielle, Jackie, and Jen Fessler all sitting together. Margaret's still talking about the friendship dynamics around the group, and she says, like, even though her and Jackie are beefing, she's not gonna character assassinate her. Ooh, I didn't want to say that word on my YouTube. Anywho, Jackie disagrees with her and says, well, actually, you said this about me at Melissa's event. And then now they're going back and forth. I will say, though, even though Margaret's my girl, she's being hella messy right now. So we're filming with the husbands right now, and they're all talking to Frank, and he said that the Costa Rica trip where he was going to propose to his girlfriend got put on hold because his dog died. So I'm wondering, is he going to propose to her this season? Or maybe it was just a plot line for the show. I don't know. So a little later, we see Rachel join the ladies that was sitting down talking. Jen Fessler isn't there, but when she sits down, Margaret points out that they're all in Envy. And she asks Jackie, is she wearing Envy? And then points out, oh, well, Melissa, she sent us all Envy dresses. Again, Margaret is twisting the knife. She knows exactly what she's doing. I'm going to be unbiased. Even though she dislikes Jackie, she's being very messy in this moment. Of course, this hurts Jackie's feelings, and she says, you know what? I know who my real friends are. Well, unfortunately for you, Jackie, you don't, because Teresa really don't fuck with you like that, and Jennifer doesn't either. Really, I don't even understand why you're even on this show. But yeah, she just keep taking L's. So across the room, we're with Jennifer, Jen Fessler, Dolores, and Jackie. And of course, Jackie has to cry to this group of women what Margaret did. She points it out to Dolores like, oh, well, are you wearing Envy? And Dolores is like, no. Of course, Jennifer is saying that, she did it to be mean. And yeah, Margaret did do that to be mean and messy. But we cut to Dolores' confessional, and it seemed like she don't really care that Melissa didn't send her a dress from Envy. Dolores then tells the ladies that she's frustrated with this friend group because they're not moving forward with anything. Afterward, Margaret pulls up, and then, Jackie, she's mute all of a sudden. One person who isn't silent is Jennifer, who actually speaks to Margaret, and they're actually being cordial with one another. Now, Margaret, she asked her, how are you doing? And then she, pats her ear. Margaret is on one this episode. She really is. That was so messy. But it looks like they're just being phony nice with each other. But Dolores is happy with this. And not Jennifer trying to act like she a victim. Oh, thank you for reaching out to me and see if I'm okay. You started that. Outside of Margaret and Jackie, they're doing a good job of keeping the ladies who don't fuck with each other apart. So the fashion show's starting, and the cameramen, I guess they zoom in on Jennifer talking to Danielle's friend, of all people, asking her, are all these clothes from Envy? And her friend says yes, and then she asked, did she design them? She said no. So Jennifer, we cut to her confessional, she's like, she's confused by the concept. You didn't design these clothes, but you're having a fashion show for it? I mean, hey, fashion people in the chat. I mean, is it a big deal that she didn't design these? Isn't she just showing off the fashions that you can get from her store? Jennifer can't help herself, much like Margaret at being messy. Like Erica De Niro said, they're pretty much the same person. Margaret's just more skilled at being messy. I'm gonna do a little prediction. I feel like Danielle's friend is gonna go back to Danielle and tell her what Jennifer said about Envy, and then Danielle's gonna go to Melissa about it. Jennifer continues to be messy, noticing that there's no male models in her show because of the rumor last year. She's trying to connect the dots. That's why Melissa shouldn't have invited her ass in the first place. So the fashion show was a success, and I was gonna ask, like, did we see any black people in the audience? The only black people I see are the bodyguards. Also, what was surprising, there was no drama at this event, no fist fights. We only got a little mini argument between Margaret and Jackie. I mean, they would never put hands on each other. If anything, Margaret would just say something that would make Jackie cry. Alright, so that's the end of the fashion show. So next scene's the day of Teresa's live podcast event. She's walking into the venue. We cut to her confessional. She's saying that she's done this podcast for a year. She's talking about her co-host, who is the good Melissa and not the crazy bitch that her brother married. Well, I mean, present day, it looks like you didn't get along with this Melissa either. We take a little break from this scene, and meanwhile across town, we're with Danielle as she's bringing her daughter to this Kids Bop video shoot. Her husband's there too, and they're talking about how her father, again, just so happened, couldn't make the event. So now we're back at Teresa's event, and Team Teresa is there in full force. There's Jen Fessler, whose head is still far up Teresa's ass, Jennifer, Jackie the Minion, and Switzerland will be on her way in a minute. I mean, Dolores. Teresa's talking some bullshit to the ladies about her podcast and finding her peace and saying that she was angry at God, so she's gonna have this in her church, whatever. So all the ladies are now asking Jennifer, did she talk to Danielle at the event? And she said, hell fucking no. And she doesn't know if she's gonna speak to her ever again. So the event's starting, guests are walking in. We still have these random faux housewives who didn't make the friend of cut. They're still filming. And we got a cameo by Dorinda Medley. I can't wait to see her on Traitors 3, y'all. Oh, and surprisingly, we see Danielle and her husband actually made the event. The ladies as well as Jennifer are gagged that she made it after all. Danielle says the Kids Bop shoot ended earlier than she thought, so she actually booked it from Newark to Atlantic City, which I think is a bit of a drive, so she actually made effort to get to Teresa's event. Now, before the event starts, we see Jennifer talking to one of Teresa's friends about what happened between her and Danielle can hear her talking about it. Danielle even walks past Jennifer as she's still talking about it. Now, y'all keep that in mind for when they come face to face later, because I don't blame Danielle for keeping that same energy with Jennifer. So the event starts, and then afterward there's a little intermission, and Teresa takes this time to bring all the ladies to this room backstage so possibly Danielle and Jennifer can make up. Teresa mentions that they're in a church and the positive vibes. Danielle then calmly looks at Jennifer and says, well, I'm shocked it didn't burn down with your ass in it. Now look, I do not blame her because, look, if Jennifer was really apologetic, she wouldn't be talking shit about Danielle, and she was like right there hearing her. I'm all for it. Keep that same energy. Jennifer then tells Teresa, well, you know, there's some things that you can't fix as well, right? Hey, she got a point, and look at her speaking back to her boss. Teresa then says, well, you know, the situation is still fresh. Jennifer's like, she's keeping it fresher. Then Danielle says, no, that was mild. Get her, Danielle. They're going back and forth, but then Teresa gets the floor again. She's like, I really want to fix this. Jennifer's like, no, Teresa. The answer is no. That is the first time Jennifer has spoke up to Teresa. Shocking. The conversation is getting nowhere, and Teresa has to go back on stage for a Q&A. So Danielle leaves first, but before she walks out the door, she leans in and tells Jennifer, by the way, you look like shit, and walks out the door. Well, so much for moving forward. After Danielle walks out the door, we see Jennifer is pissed. She's pissed with everybody. She's like, you guys just sat down and let that happen? Girl, don't try to play the victim now. You are anything but the victim. And now she's telling Teresa, you wanted me to make up with that trash box? And then Dolores, she intervenes because she's yelling at Teresa, don't yell at her like that. I'm like, oh, okay. So now Dolores and Jennifer are going back and forth. I was a little confused because I was like, wait, why is Dolores mad? What do y'all think about that? I do think that Dolores, she just plays nice and being acquaintances with Teresa's minions, i.e. Jennifer and Jackie. She don't really fuck with them like that. She only fucks with Teresa because they've known each other since they were 15. So I get it. Don't yell at my friend. Like, who the fuck you talking to? Speaking of minions, Fessler and Jackie, they rush out the door. I guess they don't want no parts as Jennifer and Dolores are yelling at each other. Teresa's trying to break it up and the credits are rolling. Jennifer's like, I'm not yelling at her, I'm yelling at the situation. Y'all wanted me to make up with that trash box. Girl, get your own diss, okay? And then she says she looks like a clown. I will say Jennifer corrected her tone, no. And Dolores is like, girl, you can handle it. And you know, we did see her handle getting the drink crushed on the side of her face. She was fine. So yeah, do your own battles. You don't need them to intervene for you. Jennifer then says maybe she don't handle every situation the right way because she really wanted to pop the bitch. You ain't gonna bust a grape, Jennifer. And that is where the episode ends. I don't mind Jersey. Like, I was fully entertained with this episode. We only have 2 more left. I cannot wait to see this dinner and how off the rails it go, pun intended. Y'all let me know whose side y'all on. I'm fully on Danielle's side. If she didn't hear Jennifer talk shit about her, maybe things would have went better when they went backstage. Anywho, make sure y'all like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see y'all for the next episode. Bye.